I dag kastede 3200 mænd og kvinder sig ud i den hårdeste disciplin overhovedet, en Ironman. Og sådan her så det ud, da de hoppede i vandet ud fra Amager i morges. Sidenhen har de svømmet 3,8 kilometer, cyklet 180 kilometer, og så har de lige løbet et maraton på 42,2 kilometer. Og der er flere af dem, der stadig er i gang. En af dem befinder sig her. Det er lige omkring Lange Linje. Det er den store sorte plet, vi kigger på. Og den mand, vi tracker, hedder Kasper Malmvig. Han er ude på sidste etape, nemlig maratonruten i hovedstaden. Og når han kommer i mål, så skriver han faktisk et lille stykke Danmarks historie. For det hjerte, der banker i hans brystkasse under alle de her strabasser, har ikke altid været hans.
7:30 i morges.
Jeg kan godt mærke, at pulsen er lidt højere lige nu.
And we are racing. The KMD Ironman Copenhagen is a go, go, go.
Kasper Palmvig hoppede i ved Amager Strandpark til først 3,8 kilometer svømning. Samme distance som for de over 3.000 andre deltagere i Ironman Copenhagen. Men der er stor forskel, for 28-årige Kasper Palmvig har fået nyt hjerte og er kun den 6. transplanteret i verden, der forsøger sig. Hjertetransplantationen gik godt.
Lækkert vand, lækkert vejr. Så nu glæder jeg mig til at komme ud og få gang i benene rigtigt.
Kort efter transplantationen blev han og kæresten gift.
Kasper! Godt så, Kasper! God tur! Tak!
Og i Holte, efter 80 kilometer på cyklen, er der også opbakning.
Kasper!
Vinden har været fin, så jeg er stadig godt mod, selvom der er godt 100 kilometer endnu, før vi skal ud og løbe. Hej.
Hej.
Dagen slutter med et maratonløb.
Og vores cyklende reporter Brian Lindhoff forsøger at halse efter Kasper Palmvig på maratonruten. Brian, hvordan går det?
Ja, det viser sig at være lidt sværere at finde ham i den her store mængde, end jeg troede, men han er stadig i gang.
Jeg har lidt ondt i benene en gang imellem, så jeg tager lidt pauser undervejs. Men ellers så er jeg stadig ved godt mod og mangler små 14 kilometer. Så jeg skal nok nå det. Det er en lang dag.
Ja. Det er så vildt. Prøv at se det her. Det er fantastisk. Har du regnet med, at du kunne klare det? Ja, det havde jeg. Det skulle nok lykkes. Hvad betyder det her øjeblik for dig? Ej, det er 2 års arbejde. Det er bare...
Kasper Palmvig, you are an Ironman!
Du er den 6. mand, der har gjort det her. Hvad tænker du? Lige nu, der ved jeg ikke, hvad jeg skal tænke. Det er bare... Det er ubeskriveligt. Det er simpelthen så vildt. Det er... Ja. Jeg ved slet ikke, hvad jeg skal sige. Hvad sender du for et budskab nu, føler du? Hvad er det for et signal, du sender ud til verden? Jamen, det er bare... Hvis man vil, så er alt muligt. Altså, hårdt arbejde og viljestyrke, så er der ikke noget, man ikke kan.
Thank you. Quite a long day, I have to say. I told some of you guys yesterday how long it took, and it took about 14 hours and 12 minutes. And do any of you know how long it took for the winner of the race? Any guesses? 9. About 8 hours and a couple of minutes. So yeah, it was quite a long day. You have 16 hours, 15 or 16 hours to complete the race to become an Ironman. For this presentation, I will now talk a bit about who am I, who was I before, during my, before I got sick, and when I got sick, and then after I had the heart transplantation. How did I get back to life? A bit about my training for the Ironman, and about setting and achieving goals. What does it mean, and why do I think it's important? And then my upcoming projects. I was a very active person before I got sick. I was just about to finish my high school, and then I suddenly became ill during my exams. And for that time, I trained almost every day, 10 to 15 hours a week, doing some strength training, just normal running and taekwondo I did also. And then I got sick. The first picture you see in the left side is one of the first days at the hospital. So I looked just a bit like I do now, just not as muscular. And when I became sick, I got to the hospital and it went really, really fast going down. So in a couple of weeks, I lost a lot of weight. In 4 weeks, I lost 16 kilos, which means I was only 65 kilos when I was the worst. I had then got the HeartMate 2. It's a LVAD, left ventricular assist device, with a pump inside, a driveline out, a control unit, and 2 batteries under my arms for 20 months. I worked full time on the waiting list. In the beginning, it was very difficult. I was really out of shape. I couldn't walk to the second floor where I was living. Had to sleep every day during the day to just, go from morning to evening. Couldn't do much. So it was a really, really tough start. I was paralyzed in the right side of my body after being in a coma for 1 week. So a tough start, and then I started to get my strength back, going to work, do normal stuff as much as you can do while you're walking around like a cyborg. And then after 20 months, I got my heart transplantation in 2009. Today, I finished, in January, I finished my education for a physiotherapist. And it's been a long journey to where I am today with my lovely wife and soon our hopefully lovely child. So just in the beginning, after I had my heart transplantation, I would like to get back to be active again. I want my lifestyle back because I've always been very, very active. So I started as soon as possible with doing some normal cardio training. I had, in the beginning after I got out of the hospital, after 12 days I think, I had some rehabilitation at a local physiotherapist for 12 times. And then I was left on my own. So I just started to go to a fitness center and tried to join the classes, you know, like body pump with the weights and all those stuff. And it was really, really tough to keep my motivation because I was so out of strength. I was in so bad shape. There was women in 50 and 60 years that could lift more weight than I could. So it was really, really mentally difficult for me to overcome. And in the beginning, it was the hardest part. After the first year, I was able to run 2K on the treadmill. And there were some people that said to me, why don't you just give up? Why don't you just accept that you can't do what you did before? But I had to keep going. Then one of my best friends said, usually every year we are doing this triathlon. Why don't you join? We have this team called, in Danish, BSEA. It means better late than never to finish the race. And And in 2012, I did my first triathlon with a 400 meters swim, 18 Ks of biking, and 4 Ks of running. And it took me about 1 hour, 10 minutes to finish this part. And the week after, I did another, which was just more than the double. But this was my way to getting back to life and feel like normal again. During my training for the Ironman, my heart rate is getting back to, I believe, which is normal. My resting heart rate is about 62, and my maximum heart rate is 190, which I believe we don't see with all the heart transplant recipients. So this might mean that there's some innervation to the heart again, and that is not too many that it happens for. I have not been using my heart rate to train always. I use a lot of what I call intensity zones, because I experience that when I'm running, and if I go run now for 10K or something, my heart rate will be about 168 to 180. So it's more than 90% of my actual maximum heart rate. And it doesn't feel like that. I don't feel that I'm pushing myself that much. And when I'm on the bike, I almost can't get my heart rate that high. So I think it's better for me to use the intensity zones, and maybe we could use that for all the patients we're training. On the left, you see a picture from this spring. I had a training session Sunday where I was running 6.5 kilometers. Then I had a biking session for just about around 60 Ks, and then a run session again in 6 Ks also. So my Sundays was about 3 to 5 hours of training every Sunday this spring. On the bike, I usually used the watt to train, because again, with monitoring the heart rate, I couldn't use as much, and I got really good feedback from the watt and really could control my intensity zones. During the weekdays, I did a lot of interval training and then the distance training in the weekend. So I got both, and sometimes it was short, high intensity intervals, and sometimes it was a bit longer interval training sessions. For this time, I trained about 9 to 12 hours a week. It was only the last year or half year before my Ironman. I put up my goal 2 years before I did my Ironman. So, what is it about setting and achieving goals? Why do I think it's important? I just have to say this photo is not photoshopped. It's from the hospital. You can see just the batteries here from the LVAD. So it was when I weighed 65 kilos. Today I'm about 80 kilos again. So just like I was before. And I had to set this goal to experience success. I want to get back to life. I wanted to feel invincible again. When I got ill, I was 20 years young. I felt like I was invincible. I was just having a normal life, doing all I loved. And I wanted to test my willpower and discipline. Could I actually set this goal? Could I actually do what it takes to complete this goal? And I wanted to prove a point, a gift of life. What could it mean? What could you do with a new organ like a heart? Could you actually finish an Ironman? What signal, what would you show the world just in Denmark to tell people, show people that if you can do this with a new organ, then I can't find any reason to say no to organ donation. So it was kind of making a project So how did I do? Or how did I do it? Wow. I put up a main goal. 2 years before, I said to myself and to my wife, I want to do the KMD Copenhagen Ironman in 2015. We were on a holiday vacation, sitting on a restaurant, and I told Josefine that I would love to do this. And she just looked at me and said, "You're crazy." I set a specific date to the goal, because you can't go, of course you can train towards just getting better shape, but it really helps to set a specific date where you want to complete this goal. I planned out smaller goals to help me stay on track, monitor my shape, and be sure that my body and I actually felt like I could do this. For me, it was important to go a bit slow, all time. Be sure that I was capable of doing. I was feeling well doing, so I didn't push myself too much. I put a specific plan, a race plan. I had a coach for all this training, programming, and for all my events, all my races, we had a very specific plan. Which zone, intensity zone, should I do the different legs in, and how should I do? So I always kept sure that I didn't get ahead of myself. This picture is from New Year's Eve 2014, with the first of all my medals. I did 2 half-distance Ironman that year. I ran a half marathon and some smaller races, all to both train how to do the races. How did you change from the swimming to the bike and off-bike session? There's a lot to learn when you do triathlon. So, did I get my goals? Yes. I really did experience how it feels to get success or be successful. I really feel invincible again. I have tested my willpower. I know I can put up a goal. I can do what it takes to achieve this goal. I have the willpower and I have the discipline. And I really did prove a point. You saw the video I showed you. I did get out on national television. This might be, some people tells me that this might be the biggest promotion of organ donation in Denmark in history. So, and this really means something to me, that I can use my story, I can use my new heart, I can really do something to make a difference. And that really, really also means a lot of quality of life for me. And it makes sense, why did this happen to me? So what now? What should my next projects be? Because when you first start this, you never stop. So later this month, at the 31st of August, July, I'll meet up with Wouter. Wouter, how do you say it? Dunisveld? Something like that, from Netherlands. And Ilmar Spring from Germany. We are the only 3 in Europe who has actually finished an Ironman race. And we'll now go together, do this Ironman like a relay. So Ilmar will do the swimming, and Wouter will do the biking, and I will do the marathon. And I sometimes think, oh, it's just in 2 weeks. And I've also started a new project in Denmark. We call it Team Recycled Organs. We will compete in Challenge Fredericia at the 6th of August. There will be 4 teams doing the relay. There will be 2 teams doing a quarter of an Ironman and 2 teams doing half an Ironman. So it will actually be the first time in Denmark so many transplanted people will join a normal race. And I think it's very important to gather people to join these ordinary races. Why don't we do that? So that is my new projects. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Do you have any questions?